The U.S. Marine Corps has long been a force to be reckoned with when it comes to projecting power around the globe. And in this modern age of warfare, one of the most critical tools in their arsenal is the heavy-lift helicopter. The CH-53 Super Stallion and its successor, the CH-53 King Stallion, have stood at the heart of this capability and title of the largest helicopter of U.S. military for decades. And it's very impressive that the design goal of doubling the Stallion's lift capability of the helicopter was accomplished with only a 10% increase in size of the previous Sea Stallion. And, for comparison, the triple-engine Stallions are able to carry the similar weight level like the C-130 Hercules family fixed-wing transport aircraft. And in this video we will dive into the development, performance, and unique capabilities of these helicopters and see what the Stallions family mean to the U.S. Marine Corps. In the late 1960s, the robust CH-53 Sea Stallion just proved themselves in the heavy lift missions, but it still lacked adequate lifting power for really satisfactory use as a flying crane. So the Marines issued a requirement for a helicopter with a lifting capacity 1.8 times that of the S-65 that could still fit on amphibious assault vessels in 1967. To meet the needs, Sikorsky had been working on an enhancement to the S-65, which acquired the company designation of S-80. This configuration, featuring a third turboshaft engine, a longer fuselage, an air refueling probe, and a more powerful rotor system, and proposed this solution to the USMC in 1968. It is interesting that the wide-span, low-mounted symmetrical tail fin of the CH-53E prototypes were changed due to flight control problems. The new tail featured the tail fin canted to the left by 20 degrees and an inverted gull asymmetric tailplane mounted on the right. This change was used in production 53Es. Not surprisingly, the U.S. Navy and Marines liked the idea, and a contract for two CH-53E prototypes was quickly issued. With about 15 tons of the maximum cargo lifting capacity, the CH-53Es were the largest helicopter that the Western countries ever made. Its empty weight is approximately 15 tons, and it can carry external load of 33,000 pounds or carrying 55 fully equipped troops. To carry the heavy payloads, the Super Stallions equip a single-point and two-point suspension system. The difference between the systems is that the main single point is attached to the transmission gearbox, while the dual point is attached to the fuselage. The CH-53E Super Stallion is powered by three 4,380 shaft horsepower turboshaft engines. They drive the 7-blade main rotor and 4 blades anti-torque tail rotor with the complex transmission system. To extend the operating range, the Super Stallion feature a removable air refueling tube which can be removed to enhance its maneuverability on the flight deck and hangar. With these setups, the Super Stallion could reach a maximum speed of 170 knots and fly a range of 1,000 kilometers with conventional payloads. Except for the CH-53E, the U.S. Navy also maintained the MH-53E Sea Dragon variant that is primarily dedicated to airborne mine countermeasures operations. This special variant is heavier than the CH-53E with enlarged fuel sponsons for greater fuel capacity, and it was upgraded with more powerful engines. The Sea Dragon is tasked with mine hunting, sweeping, clearing, and can use specialized equipment such as towed rigs. With the helicopter's heavy lift abilities, it can also be used for ship-to-shore transport and vertical onboard delivery, just like the Super Stallions. Since the first Super Stallion entered services in 1981 and the last aircraft with life extension upgrade were delivered in 2003, the Marine and Navy Stallion fleet is facing with aging airframes, high maintenance costs, and issues. During last decade's aviation crisis, CH-53E Super Stallions had the most serious readiness problems of all Marine Corps aircraft due to their high-frequency operation all over the world. To maintain the Marine's vertical heavy lift capacity, the USMC analysis of alternatives determined that a new-build airframe would be a more cost-effective solution in March 2004. This time, the Sikorsky was still awarded an initial system development and demonstration contract for the new helicopter, which is designated the CH-53K heavy-lift rotorcraft in January 2006. After the critical design review in 2010, the King Stallion was entering the prototype's production and testing process. But due to some technical issue, the first King Stallion prototype for flight testing was delivered to the U.S. Marine Corps in May 2018, and that's 3 years after her first flight. Although the development of the aircraft encountered some issues and significant delays, the final King Stallion has still left the U.S. military quite satisfied. Compare with her predecessor, the King Stallion is upgraded with more powerful engines, all-composite blades, fly-by-wire flight controls, and integrated glass cockpit and other new-era technology. The King Stallion is powered by 3 General Electric GE38 1B engines, which is rated at 7,500 shaft horsepower. That gives the King the ability to fly 20 knots faster than its predecessor. The fly-by-wire system of King just gets rid of all its traditional mechanical components that controlled by pilots indirect. The pilot's control inputs are interpreted by the flight computer instead, which calculates the control surface positions required to achieve that outcome. The fly-by-wire system and integrated glass cockpit of the King significantly reduce the crew's workload and optimize the King's maneuvering operation. According to pilots who have flown the King Stallion, doing external cargo lifts is much easier when compared to the Super Stallion. Fly-by-wire controls simplify the process by allowing pilots to easily hover in the same spot while the payload is being hooked in. On top of that, fly-by-wire systems can be designed to protect aircraft in the event of incorrect or inadvertent control inputs from the pilot, which could prevent accidents. With these new technology and strength blade systems, the King is able to carrying an external load of 27,000 pounds across 110 nautical miles at an altitude of 3,000 feet in a temperature of 33 degrees Celsius, which is 3 times the amount lifted by Super Stallion in the same environment. The King just proved herself by executing the U.S. Navy's Seahawk recovery mission on September 5, 2021 in Bishop, California. The King from the U.S. Marine VMX-1 Squadron successfully lifted the roughly 1,500-pound MH-60S at an altitude of 12,000 feet mean sea level, and it's a hard job for the Super Stallion. For extended operation, it can also be refueled in flight from a KC-130, just like the Super Stallion. It can also refuel from a surface ship while in hover mode, and of course, when on the ground. All of its new technology also course some issues, which is the main reasons that postpone the full operational capability to 2029. In the meantime, Super Stallion pilots would need to be trained in order to transition to flying the King Stallion, which is going to continue the legacy of Stallion heavy-lift helicopters that the U.S. Marine Corps has been flying for decades. From the Sea Stallion, Super Stallion to the King Stallion, one thing remains clear. These helicopters will continue to dominate the vertical logistics support operation, ensuring that the U.S. Marine Corps can fully respond to its duty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the video, PLS hit the like and subscribe buttons, and see you in the next videos.